Tommy. Shh. Tommy. Shh. What's that?
I don't know.
The silent knowing, Tommy. Now that we've converted everyone to fucking Magia, I think we should take it upon ourselves to be spokespeople for Magia.
Yeah, sure. I will absolutely and utterly be the prophetess disciple who mixes everyone up about the information from Magia and sends them on the wrong track. That's my function in the cosmology.
We can set up our houses of Magia. So, like, I'll be secretary abbess. What's the female nun? What's the head honcho of the nuns? What's she called?
Sister.
No, not a sister.
No. It's something sister, isn't it? Big sister.
So I'm Sister Spud of the Spud House of Magia in Poland, and you can come up with your own title there for Dublin, for Ireland, for Dublin. You're not in Dublin.
I'll be the apologetic.
I might be wrong on this, but
I'm probably wrong on this, and you should definitely check us out with someone else. But yeah, if you eat alfalfa sprouts, you get instant enlightenment.
So everyone's going to be into this now, aren't they? Hopefully.
Yeah, they seemed to like the last podcast. That was good.
I was telling you, I was out on the beer all weekend. I drank Friday, Saturday. I even drank some Sunday, and I had another bottle last night. And just like my level of tolerance for anything in the world now is at nothing.
Right.
Because I've been drinking for too many days, and now I'm just like, I hate you all, and I want to die. And the sooner the better that I die and get out my... It's just alcohol, it's alcohol.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's also the
Oh.
spirit of the times a bit, isn't it? It's like kind of, if you're going to be depressed and whatever, then now is the time for that to happen.
No, I'm over all that. I'm having nothing to do with the world. I'm totally on the... I know the world's going to be okay. We'll all be dead, but the world will still be here. It's great. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not grand for the people who are...
rant about? I was mid-rant there, and you took me down another track there.
About the drinking and that you hate everyone and that
the lads.
And that you've turned into a terrible person, and you're just...
I didn't take much, did it? Only a few pints and a couple of bottles of poaching.
Well, if that's all it takes to turn you into a different person, then it says a lot about your integrity.
I'm a bad person, and I have very low... when it comes to drinking, like, I'm fairly good at staying off the drink at home, like in the diet and what I get and all that. And like, actually, she pushes me a bit more to drink, because if Friday comes around, she's like, "Oh, I'd love some drink." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." "Yeah, but I want one." "Yeah, to drink away." "Yeah, I don't want to drink on my own." Okay. Jesus.
I'll have 6 bottles of vodka. Jesus, stop annoying me.
Yeah, buy me 8 cans then, will you? Because there's no point in having none or one. Who can do that, like? So yeah, I was drinking with the lads. We went off up the mountains, got a house together into this place called Istebna. Now, Istebna is known in Poland because it's one of these anti-LGBT places, which is a real thing. It's disgusting. But we went there, and I have this lovely...
What do you mean it's like it's known as, like, it's just that everyone who lives there lives there because they want to make a point? Was there a vote?
The local city council did some vote thing on it, saying that they don't want LGBT people there, basically.
Nice people.
And so it hit the headlines all over the world. There's a few other things, and the European Union actually stood in and were like, "Well, okay, you can do that, but we won't give you any money ever." And now they're like, "Oh shit!" And I have a lovely rainbow unicorn T-shirt that I brought with me and totally forgot to fucking wear, like an idiot.
Well.
But anyway, I was drinking away with the lads, and like, we're getting drunk on Friday night and then on Saturday as well. And then out of nowhere, I just get this, "Hey, Spud." "Yeah." "Alistair Crowley, man." "Oh, all right. So you do listen to the podcast." "Alistair Crowley, yeah, what's going on there?" And then I'm like, okay, yeah, Crowley's a piece of shit, but like, he had it going on with, philosophy-wise, spirituality and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. "Oh, okay, yeah. What do you mean, like?" So then I have to go and explain what he was kind of into. And an hour or two later, "Hey, come here, I was thinking about synchronicities, right? Is it that they're like this and this?" And like, I'm not a spokesman. I don't know.
Here's my opinion. That is definitely wrong.
It's like
that you shouldn't listen to.
My uncle used to go on skiing holidays with us years ago, And it came out that he's a priest, you know, it just because it gets out. But he's one of these priests who never dresses like a priest when he's not doing priestly things.
Has a nice car.
He has a lovely car. You've seen it. You've been in it. And he'll... and he hates people knowing that he's a priest. And I'm like... we're like, why? Because they're like the paedophiles. And I'm like, no.
No.
What do you mean, no?
It's
like
the women as second-class citizens bit, is it? It's no, no, it's not that either.
And it's because people come up to him for advice.
But is that not his function? Is that not?
No, but stuff like it's stuff like it's really mundane stuff. It's like
car insurance. Which is the best car insurance?
Look, I had a funeral there with my granny there like 2 months ago. Was the thing that happened was that his thing that was supposed to happen, and you can just see his eyes rolling in the back of his head, going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, will you leave me alone?" You know. So yeah, all that kind of stuff. You know.
So did it turn out that they all are secretly listening to the podcast, pretending they're not?
They have to be.
Yeah, but still not admitting it to you when you called them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is fine. That's fine. Hello, Brian, Nick, Matt. How's it going?
Lads, what's the crack? Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun though. It was great to catch up with them because I hadn't since before coronavirus. When I think that's when I first got it.
Is these the same lads you did a podcast with, that Zoom thing? Is it, or different?
Yeah. And so I hadn't seen him since before that, and we still haven't figured out if I give them coronavirus or your man that came back from Spain gave it all to us, because the four of us all got sick from up with each other that time, you know. And hopefully we will again this weekend. We'll see. I'm feeling okay now, a little bit miserable. But look, it's 11:11, which means absolutely nothing.
Because it's 10:11 in Ireland.
Yep. What you been at?
Me, I had my first carb in a number of weeks at the weekend. Yeah, it was fantabulous. I have to say, I enjoyed it. Yeah, we went away to Trimcastle. People will know Trimcastle as Braveheart. A number of scenes are recorded in Braveheart of it. Well, they're kind of they're fixed up Trimcastle to look a bit more presentable, because it's quite, like, I mean, it's old, obviously, but it still is quite impressive. But you go in the actual Trimcastle and it's, you know, you do walk around and you'd be out in 10 minutes, whatever. It's not an awful lot of things to do. You can read some signs, look at some dogs. That's about it.
But it's lovely.
Any what?
Do any ghost hunting around?
No, because you see, with lockdowns and stuff, there's all barriers, there's one ways, so it's not, you're not getting the freedom to literally do anything. You kind of have to, you know, keep moving, move along. You know, and it's like, we're literally the only people here. Yeah, one way system, keep going. Oh, you want to go home, don't you? Yeah. But the hotel was directly across, but it was lovely. And when we went into the hotel, into the room, they had like a teepee set up for the wee man, and a teddy bear and a book and a wee letter, and he was just
cultural appropriation there, isn't it?
Yeah, ruined my experience. That's it. Make me feel.
I mean, teddy bears. Teddy bears obviously to do with what's his name? Teddy
Roosevelt.
Woodrow Wilson. Who's the fucking president there?
Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt.
Supposedly it's not.
Teddy Roosevelt into a teepee. Bit racist.
and an ability to read a book. I don't think he could read books. Here, you know that old idea of that Bobby McFerrin who wrote "Don't Worry, Be Happy" that he killed himself. This is the thing. I was going like, yeah. But like, I've heard this a million times. I went, well, that's a story I tell people. You know, if it comes up anytime someone mentions that, I go, you know, yeah, right. But he killed himself. Yeah, he's not dead. At all.
Not even dead. Mandela effect. There you are. There's a good Mandela effect for you. That's a good one.
That is a perfect Mandela effect, because that is a mistake. Not that the world has changed. Exactly. He never actually died. I
don't know if it's true, but I just presume it is, that Teddy Roosevelt, to make people uncomfortable,
used to take out his penis. I think I have heard that before.
Is it that? No. I've heard another one. He would bring in, like, I don't know, say someone like they don't have ministers in America, do they? So you'd have the head honcho of the finance or something would come in and say, look, Teddy, we need more money, man. We need more money. There are babies crying on the street. All they can eat is Red Indians. And this is, because it's time of massive racism in America. This is true. And Teddy'd be like, right, look, we need to talk about this. Come here with me. And he'd make him go into the toilet, and Teddy would sit down and take a shit.
Right.
and he would judge the character of the other person by how he would react to him taking a shit.
But like, was the horrified
He was the
thing?
president of the free world, and this is how he judges people.
But was he judging that if you were just cool, then you were cool, or if you were cool with him having a shit, we go like, well, you're a terrible person, obviously, because you're sitting here looking at me having a shit.
I don't know. Yeah, because like you think it should be the second one, because like this should freak you out, man. Why is this not freaking you out, you fucking psychopath?
Yeah, you're fired.
Know. Strange world we live in. I know they're all dead now and all, but it's just the whole world thing is just kind of mad, you know.
Bye.
Because I sent you that thing last night. I was asking, but had you heard of this Thomas Berry fella?
Oh yeah. I didn't even get a chance to look at that.
It turns out
it sounds like a priest's name, doesn't it? Father Berry.
Well,
was he?
Yeah, I don't think Thomas is even his real name, because it says that he took the name Thomas because he went into a monastery. He got lost one time, or else he got invited in by some touchy-feely men or something like that.
So you just stand there, I'm about to have a shit. We're going to judge you.
No, he studied to be a monk at one stage, and then he a bit like Joseph Campbell. Then he got into theology and Eastern and Western mythology and all this kind of stuff. But he has this. He's very Rudolf Steiner, in that he has this thing about non-duality, and that humankind, and indeed all animals, actually not even animals, everything that's in the universe right now is a manifestation of the universe wanting to experience everything for itself.
Okay.
So it's non-duality, yeah? Mm-hmm. But like, you don't hear a lot of this in the Christian church. Like, it's there, but like, it's kind of like...
Yeah, but they don't have a non-dual kind of outlook. They have a very dual outlook in that there's...
They do, but if you scratch beneath the surface a bit, I reckon there's loads of priests and Christian mystics who are like, it's non-duality is the way to go.
Yeah, well, if you have people like Master Eckhart and stuff like that who had fairly kind of mystical... But I mean, like, reincarnation was in Christianity for a while and stuff. And as Alan Chapman points out, is that it's like Gnosticism isn't a Christian heresy. Like, Christianity is a Gnostic heresy. So it's
because Gnosticism was around before, like.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Like, the more kind of you read or listen to his talks and all on Magie, I'm kind of listening going, oh, Jesus Christ, now I'm going to be reading fucking Socrates and fucking, all these indecipherable fucking philosophers from 5,000 years ago.
Empedocles, Parmenides.
Parmenides, Hippocrates, fucking Ganymedes.
Don't forget to wash your knees.
I have a hard enough time trying to get through fucking Crowley, and it's like, oh God. But like, I still know I'm right about Crowley. It's the books that are about Crowley are better than the books by Crowley. How are you getting on with your Equinox thing? Or are you just buying them for the covers?
Well, it's the same cover with the number changed. So I mean, that would be a bit of a bad investment.
You're reading them really good.
Yeah, there's an interesting one. Yes, obviously Aleister Crowley's poetry is terrible, so you skip that bit. I tried. There's one, and it's just like, oh, this is so bad. It reminds me. And there is people love Crowley's poetry, but like, so it's just obviously personal opinion. I think more people dislike Crowley's poetry though. But there's a really good kind of introduction to the AA and the structure, and it's what it's about at the opening of the first equinox. And then it goes into fiction story, which is interesting because it's about a guy who is selling glasses, and he's been brought up to court, and he's been prosecuted because he claims that the glasses will show you the truth. And goes, oh, that's very interesting considering this was written in the early part of the 20th century, and John Carpenter didn't make his film until, was it late 90s, late 70s, early 80s? They Live, that one. Because that's very interesting that it's the same thing. So I'm halfway through that. It's kind of a long story, but there's some great stuff in it. Like an awful lot of the separate books that you see, like Libor, CVVX, MML, all that, all come from the Equinox. So like John St. John's in it at the end of, which is his magical diary of or his magical retirement and stuff like that. So there's loads of different kind of very interesting stuff, and it's really nice because it's like literally a copy of the old version. It's not retyped, it's like scanned, but it's not like a shitty PDF scan. Like it's done well, and it's mad to see how small our font types have got over the years, like compared to But unless it's oversized, maybe the Equinox was originally half the size or something like that. But it's quite big text, which suits me at the minute. It's just easy just to read or whatever. But yeah, no, it's really nice, and the obviously the reproductions are great and will look lovely on the shelf. It's kind of like my equivalent of buying, the old thing where you buy the Encyclopedia Britannia one a month. So that's kind of like, so if someone up front, like you look at the Black Books by Young, which is coming out this month, and it's whatever 220 quid, but it's 6 books or something like that, and you go, I will not. What about 10 books at £22 each? How does that sound? I'm in. I'll buy that. I'm game. I'll have that.
Yeah, I wonder which one's going to be harder to read though, Crowley or Young. Probably Crowley, maybe. Because I was looking through, I saw a couple of you lads were talking on Discord about where to start with a big file dump.
Yeah.
Was it, what's it called, Magic Without Tears or something like that?
Yeah. So that's him.
I'm literally trying to open the PDF here now because I had a look through because it's pretty short.
Yeah, it's someone.
I was like, oh my god, the language! What the fuck is going on here?
Well, you're not going to escape that ever. But it's just because the reason why I suggest that one, not because I'm definitely not. Don't listen to me. I don't. I'm always wrong, particularly on Crowley. But it's because it's someone basically going, right, I don't understand your books. Can you explain them a bit simpler?
Yeah.
That's it's like a conversation.
What was the other one you said as well? Magic Without Tears and.
Oh, I did. So I recommend the Equinox as well, just because it's the start. But there's a few. Like, I mean, there's the reading list of the AA, like you could tell, which is where you're meant to start and stuff like that. I think you did have a look at that though, didn't you? At one point?
No, yeah, but there's different ones as well. Like you can go into some of the AA lodges or houses or whatever the fuck they're called, and they also have different ones as well.
Yeah.
Do you know?
King Carson recommended
I see
book
no objection
Lies.
at all
That's what
to
it was.
postulating that certain rays or other means of transmitting some particular form or forms of energy may reach us from other parts of the solar system. So we can in fact point to perfectly anonymous phenomena in the discoveries of the last one. What the fuck are you talking about, Alistair?
Well, he's talking about the animations of the 7 rays of theosophy, I assume, and that. So,
it's just and there was one I opened and it was all done in like old type, the type font from Notebook.
all right, yeah.
Thing, and I was like, oh my god, who did that? Who went to the bother of doing that? That's like Hunter Thompson sitting down and typing out fucking F. Scott Fitzgerald Gatsby book. I think
Oh,
it was
yeah,
Gatsby's
yeah.
book anyway. Could you imagine Hunter Thompson now with a big fucking cocaine head on him just going, this book
I'd
is
say,
so profound.
I'd need a proofreader.
I want to be sheriff.
I'm reading also, I have read it before, but is Answer to Job, Carl Jung's book, which is really good, about him talking about the whole book of Job in the Bible, and about how much of a fucking C words that we're not allowed to use on YouTube anymore God is in it, and how he really comes off particularly bad. It's very interesting.
Is that the one where he tells your man to kill his kid? Or no, is that Abraham?
No, that's the Abraham Isaac thing. No, it's the one where Job is the biggest fan of God in the world and very loyal to him, and the devil comes up and goes, God, do you think Job would still like you if you were an absolute bastard to him? And God goes, you know what, Satan? I like the way that you think. Let's wreck his life, see what happens. And then at the end, when Job goes, right, still into you, man, why'd you do that? God just goes off on a mad one going, I can do whatever I want because I'm awesome. Who are you to say anything? I'm awesome. Jealous and a bit angry. Oh, and you kind of go. And so Young's kind of going, yeah, God doesn't really come off well in this one. Job's actually, Job is just pretty good in it. But it's good in the sense of, in the language-wise, it's not... It's not hard to read. Like it's one of, because of like when I'm trying to read Ion as well, and it's tough in the language type way. It's like you kind of have to really slow down and kind of read a sentence and go, right, what's he saying now? You can think about it.
Saying here,
whereas in Answer to Job, it feels it flows way more. You go, you can read a couple of pages before you stop and have to go, what was that? You're understanding the flow a bit more. I'm also reading Magic, Crowley's book on magic as well, the book 4. That's quite good. It starts off with the list of things, and you go, oh, this is very interesting. He's making all that, and then straight away, the first chapter proper, you go, Crowley, with your language, will you stop?
It's so. Yeah. I found it here. There's another version of it from one of those file dumps as well. It's just. It is of the first importance that you should understand my personal position. It is not actually wrong to regard me as a teacher, but it is certainly liable to mislead fellow student, or if, like you, fellow sufferer, seem, man, what? Just fucking say what you mean in less words.
Do you think they spoke like that in real life? Like, is that just the kind of...
Of course that's how he spoke. I have no idea. What did he sound like? What was his voice?
He's a kind of a high-pitched voice. There is a few recordings of him.
And like an English voice.
Yata tempe oh hit falla book of that. Yeah, there's him scrying one of the Enochian
Parkway version. It is of the first importance that you should understand my personal position.
Because
it is not actually wrong to regard me as a teacher. It is certainly liable to mislead. That went into total fucking James Acaster there. Sorry.
On Damon Albarn's John D album, it actually has a recording of Crowley doing it, so there is a kind of a Parklife somewhat version of it. Yeah. Well, it's not. It's treated very seriously.
Poor old Crowley, huh? Jesus, all am I giving out about him? And now I'm like, oh yeah, tell him it's pretty cool actually. But yeah.
Richard Kaczynski, if that's how you pronounce it, his book Perturabo is rated as one of the top biographies. I've started it as well. I'm back. Yeah. It's great. Now that my eyes work again, I'm back reading 10 books at once. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. And then there's that other book that I asked. It's one something. It's the new Talama book about the AA, and I put it up. And someone sent me going, yeah, this is a terrible book. It's really slanted, but it's good reviews. It's unscribed, so I started it as well. Seems good. I don't know.
Is that the one from the Dutch people? I was
yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, is it bad? Is it?
No, it's good. I like it. I don't know. It's just like it's one of those things that you probably, if you're within the organisation, have a different opinion about it. From an outsider's point of view, kind of go, well, I don't know. Like I'm not offended by it. I don't know these. I don't know these people.
Okay.
So I'll put
I still want to give it a go, and I think I might buy this Thomas Berry's book as well, because it's called The Great Work, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, you got me in the name alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, The Great Work, and his kind of idea is that we're at this change where we're either going to have a kind of another enlightenment, or we're fucked, really, really, really fucked, like the most fucked we could ever have been to this point. And so I would like to think we're going the left way that I pointed towards, and I hope he does too. But it's kind of like I watched a couple of things about him last night, and his main kind of argument is kind of like, look, we just all have to, stop being individuals and just try and get on a bit better with each other,
That sounds communist. Is he a big dirty socialist? I've been watching The Vow.
He only died there a while ago as well, 2008 or something, 2010 or something like that. But he seems fairly cool. But then look, I barely just skimmed the thing. I watched some other things about him, and there's kind of a weird culty thing about him. So I don't know. There's some people who are into them, and they're really, really, really into him.
Right.
Like a bit like the Theosophy people go a bit too far with certain stuff.
Or the Crowley people, or any of them.
Yeah, well, I suppose I can't even. But you get all of these fucking organisations, and it's kind of like they just go a little bit too far. Do you know, like do you really need this organisation to hang out with each other and just talk with the same person all the time, or are you just lonely? Can you not just?
Yeah, but I suppose it's hard to progress within a vacuum too. It's like even down to people who have book clubs and stuff like that. You like talking about the things you're into, or like, why do people listen to football podcasts? Like, why should it matter what other people's opinions about any topic is? It's the social kind of thing. But it's interesting to say that, because I've been watching The Vow, which is the HBO new documentary about the sex cult thing. That'll definitely end up being an episode of this podcast, I'd say, when you watch it. It's really, really interesting and really grim. And but it's as usual with all these, I'm not going to spoil anything, but any kind of documentary about a cult, like say even I don't know, what was the other ones I watched, the one that's on Wild Wild Country, or any of that kind of stuff, where it's there's a few other ones I've watched where it starts off and goes, oh, so we kind of all got together, banded together, met this cool teacher guy, and he taught us so much about our life, and then he shows the process and go, this sounds great, I'm totally going to look these up, and maybe this documentary's wrong. It's going to be, this is going to help. Same in The Vow, you go, this sounds great. This is like, these people seem so happy. And then immediately, or not immediately, towards the end of even the first episode, you're going, oh yeah, this not good. I'm not joining this cult.
Why? What goes wrong?
Well, I won't spoil it on any. Well, what goes wrong in every cult?
Someone gets too powerful or not powerful enough.
Oh well, no. Well, I mean, it's no different than any cult story. It's it's a cult of personality, and so someone like surrounds himself with people who are devotees, and he takes advantage of it. And it's allegedly, because they're still going. It's if you ever heard of the film, which you mightn't have, because I've mentioned it before, but What the Bleep Do We Know, which was a huge. It was like the third biggest spiritual documentary, I think, after like The Secret. It came around The Secret around that time, and it's about not about quantum physics. It's that whole pretending that quantum physics is exactly the same as what New Age people say. But it's good. But it's the guy who directed that. He joins this organization, and so he's been documenting it the whole time because that's what he does. So he's in it from when it's good to when it's bad, and he has all great footage, and it's all produced really well. And he, for whatever reason, he has always recorded his phone conversations, so he has everything. But there is some of it definitely seems reenacted, which is quite weird because it's not presented as reenacted. But there's no way you have footage of that person who left the cult on an airplane on their own.
From 12 different camera angles of its own.
I know, yeah. But it's another weird thing that happened because they're talking about it, and it's 2006, and you go, oh, well, I mean, that's not that long ago. It's only a couple of years ago. And then you go, oh, no, that's 14 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, so old. Yeah, it's no, I'll give it a go, right? Because I saw, you recommended it, and someone else did as well. So yeah, I'll give it a lash.
So what about this?
It makes me sad.
Oh well, it's not sad. It's not sad in that they're it's not, I don't know, kids in a boiler or anything that or in a killing.
What gets them into this cult at first? Like, what is it?
It seems that the stuff that it's kind of very close to that kind of middle ground that you have between spirituality and business. Business excellence, where you're improving yourself as a person, but it's really how to make more money, and it's
all right. Okay.
So it starts a bit like that, but it's a bit kind of like the binding stuff that you find in Margia, where it's trying to remove this kind of limiting beliefs, they call it, and you become, every time you let it go, you become more happier and stuff. But there's then, it's very quickly, it gets into, but you have to wear this sash, and a certain colour sash, and that represents where you are on the thing. And you go, well, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, well, good luck. And,
So it's religion and spirituality and business mixed with karate classes.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, okay. Yeah. Without the karate.
Without the karate. Yeah. But I want a green one. Oh, you're not ready. You must wear a yellow one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it's the goalposts keep moving. Of course, you have to pay for all of these courses, and then when you do these 3 courses, then you will you'll be able to teach this, and then and then make some money. So you do the 3 courses, go, oh no, well, we've changed it to 5 courses now, so you needed 5, and then when you do the 5, oh no, it's 37 courses now. But it looks good, like up to the point where, again, up to the point where the cracks start to show, whatever. Some of it's, you go, well, that people seem to like the cure Tourette's in it, like, and do, if that's as it's presented. There might be a thing in episode 3 where they go back and go, because I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and it turns out that it was all a lie or something. But so the stuff, the tech, if you want, works. As with most of the stuff in cults, like, people are attracted to it because it works and makes them feel good. But it's then the abuse of that is the issue,
So then, like, okay, to go all fucking deep on this then, how do you have a religion or a belief system that doesn't get that way?
You would have to have it without a single person as the centre of it. So it would have to be...
That's what Telema is supposed to be, but it hasn't ended up becoming like that.
No, but... Well, it has, in a sense, in that it's so splintered that there's no central kind of organisation whatsoever. But I mean, you still had Crowley, I suppose, at the beginning of it, and I suppose, like, say you have the Catholics, which is the Pope at the beginning, in the middle of it, which is still a kind of cult of personality. But it's so spread out among saints and Jesus himself, and somewhere in the background is God. But I don't know. Like, is it possible to have a religious belief or a group of people believing the same thing without some sort of hierarchy? And as soon as you have hierarchy, you're going to have abuse of hierarchy, because that's what we do. That you have that you have that in Hollywood as much as you have it in comedy, as you have it in football, as you have it in the local community, whatever.
Look, man, you even have it in like schools and stuff. I remember there was parents' councils in schools and all, and it was like, okay, so it's the middle class mums who go to this.
Karen,
Karen, my ma, and the fucking. But the poorer kids, their parents don't show up to these things at all. And you're like, so do they not care about their kids? No, they work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
But and then they install themselves as a hierarchy, as if their voices are fucking louder, or well, their voices are louder, but as if their voices are more important. And yeah, I don't know, because it's just I don't want Magia to go badly.
No, but I mean, but you could kind of say that's the thing. But looking at something like the anything about a cult or whatever, any kind of belief you were in, which is kind of, I suppose, the goodness of chaos magic is that there's no central thing. It's an idea at the center. So it's not Pete Carroll, although or it's not Alan Chapman or Gordon White, whatever. Although that could very
only one of them I like.
Take your pick. Let's guess who it is. But people, like even if the person themselves isn't into that or whatever, it's still like you can still form a kind of a cult personality around them, external to them, even if they're not in the type of, or even if they're dead. Or any of the things. I don't know. It's a good warning for anyone who's into spiritual stuff or magic or looking for a teacher, or even to yoga. That's something I was going to say as quite innocuous as yoga, but I mean there's some terrible stuff goes on in yoga too. As that documentary, the Vikram yoga stuff that's on Netflix, that's very interesting as well. So yeah, just to be to always check. We've said this before. Like you always have to check and keep asking yourself, am I in a fucking cult? And just keep doing that, because and if it starts to smell like a duck, it looks like a duck. Because in one of the other documentaries about I can't remember what it was called. It was really good as well. It was on Amazon Prime. It was about another kind of cult that ended up, and he was a very weird, a French guy. But they were joking for like the first couple of years. We're in a cult, but it's a really good cult. So, and then eventually after a couple of years, goes, oh no, we're in a cult. This is bad. This is there's the abuse. This is the thing. So yeah, just make sure you're not in a cult. I don't know. There has to be an awful lot of stories of people who joined spiritual groups and got I suppose the whole kind of thing of Shanga, if that's pronounced that right, in Buddhism. Where you go to your local Buddhist center. And you do meditation, and someone gets up and gives a talk, and but you're not asked to give part of your your work, your earnings or anything like that. It's just you literally go to a centre and people give talks and you can give a donation or whatever. And I suppose you're not going to hear about that on Netflix. They're not going to make a documentary about that, because it's just like people just go there and meditate and everything's cool, right? Well,
that's not interesting.
We're not going to get 6 episodes out of that. Did someone touch anyone inappropriately? But then you have the hardcore Dharma punk guy, Noah Levine, who he was he's kind of the punk guy who drugs, alcohol, and ended up in prison, but found Buddhism, meditation, whatever, and came out the other end of it. And then he'd massive scandals there recently about abuses towards his, people are very kind of cagey around what exactly it was, but it seemed to be some sort of abuse towards females. But I don't know, so that's probably, don't listen to me, that's allegedly all these things. But it's again, that seemed a very kind of cool thing, pulling away from all the norms of all the kind of conservatism around these kind of groups. And, he's a punk, he's he's full of tattoos, he's kind of cool, it's different. And goes, he's falling for the same abuse role that all of these kind of gurus kind of do. Same as Alan Chapman's talking about Adi Da in the anniversary talks, where he says obviously all of these things seem to end up in failure. There's no kind of way that it doesn't, and doesn't seem to be a point, or it doesn't seem to be someone you can point at that you go, well there's the success. there's where it worked, because it never, that kind of role or that type of organization or that type of teaching, I suppose, inevitably fails, which I assume he also means Magia will end up the same way, but maybe not as quite as scandalous or as something, but that the teaching is inevitably to fail. I think it's part of the, the recapitulation of the in that, the birth death cycle of things. Maybe, I don't know, again, ask Alan, I'm not speaking for him.
No, I know, but what I took from that as well was that, like, not that the teaching will fail, because the teaching is a reinterpretation or is a
recapitulation,
or a rejigging of what's come before. Because then there's this thing about the ancestors, so Crowley, and he said Kingsley is one, and
Manny,
whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's the same with all the religions. Is that like, okay, so until the 1400s, this is what we believed, and then 200 years later, someone had a better view of it and went, no, I can make this better for our generation or whatever, and then they go with that. It doesn't really change the core beliefs around it. It just opens another kind of perception on it, which is, I think, exactly what Magia is.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And so I think he has kind of just said, this is going to fail when people get involved, but I'm just going to give you the book anyway, and I hope that you do well with it.
And it's like set up that like that thing I said earlier, and there is people are going to interpret it wrong, and there's no way out of that. It's like, because I suppose the whole nature of it is that you're trying to you come out of the shadow and into the light and all that. Within that, the whole thing is its falsehood, and by presenting the truth, you're going to get the opposite, because that seems to be the nature, particularly as it's presented in Magia, that everything is the opposite of what it is. Everything is a shadow of what it appears to be. It's the thing that fools you into thinking this is how you're going to get what you want, where in fact you end up with the opposite of what you want. So presenting the truth, inevitably, by that equation, has to end up with falsehood. Or something like that.
I get you. But it's like there was a recent new thing from your guy, Alan Watts, with some old footage, and I think you shared it, or someone shared it on the channel,
of him at the blackboard in 1950s.
And you can see he's struggling to put it into words. It's really interesting, because he never struggles for words.
No, never does.
Stuff.
Yeah,
but he's struggling to find it and explain it in words that he knows it, he understands it, but he's trying to find the words to put it in the best way that other people understand. He's talking about awakening. But he kind of comes to this conclusion after many stutterings and trying to put it in and taking 4 or 5 attempts at it over a few minutes. He finally comes to this thing, look, it's balance. And he goes he explains the yin and yang and how everything needs its opposite to be something. So like, you don't have, basically it's that thing, you can't know what happiness is until you know what sadness is. And you actually need to know what sadness is first, because then you have an appreciation for how awesome happiness actually is. But you still need to get sad, kind of thing.
Which I suppose that's the whole idea of the creation and the Kabbalah type thing, that was Ein Sof, the original thing that had no opposite, no counter, and for it to know itself, it had to create an opposite or something. So that's the split.
God's
that's the
up there going,
thing.
fucking nothing to do. I'm bored off you tits, lads. Right.
Well, no, he's not, because he doesn't even know what bored is, because there's no opposite, there's no fulfillment. It's just it's not. So it's the splitting of the thing.
Flaming sword time. And Zorro was invented.
Oh no! I've dropped all these glass things on the ground. Just ignore the Clifford. Just put that away. Oh, I've done it again. I've done it 3 times. How could I do that? Are we going to talk about this documentary?
Which one? The Enlightened one?
Enlightenment, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so I watched it again this morning, because it's like, 6 years since we decided we were going to talk about it. The interesting thing I found about watching, because it's at least third time I've seen it, is that the first time I watched it, my memory of it is it's not completely different. It has elements that are definitely not in the documentary at all, and that was interesting for me, how my memory has changed the thing of it. In that, the documentary's called Enlighten Up, yes? Am I right?
Enlighten Up, yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically this kind of semi-Karen who wants to work for MTV.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, that's why I'm laughing. It's totally fair.
Is mad into yoga. and she thinks it can change the world, change anyone. So she wants to make a documentary which picks someone who's, I suppose, she kind of an empty slate or blank slate that she can impose yoga on, and it'll change his life as far as she can see. So she picks someone who's a blank slate who isn't really, considering his mother's a shamanic healer and his father's a lawyer or whatever. So I suppose there's a balance there. And but he's a journalist, which that's good, and he's articulate, kind of good looking dude. You know, that really has that 90s MTV documentary aesthetic, which you immediately pointed out. Goes, what year is this from?
Honestly, I was convinced it was like 1984.
It's done well. It's in that style. It's very good. It doesn't have the cheesy music, or it doesn't have the epileptic inducing flashing or anything like that. But it's kind of so then follows his journey onto through the world of yoga or whatever, which I suppose I don't want to jump ahead too much because you could just get to the crux of it very quick. But he starts off that he's into it. He wants to try it. He's very open to it or whatever. But he is definitely not buying any of the spiritual aspects of it at all, and he gets very frustrated very quickly with Karen's insistence and demanding that that because it's not changing his outlook in life, that he's not doing it right, or he's not serious enough about it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. But you can see from him that he doesn't, from the offset, he doesn't take the spirituality side of it. No, that's not to say that he doesn't take it seriously, but he doesn't take it seriously because that's not what he's wanting out of it.
No, yeah.
You know, like he's going into it going, oh yeah, sure, I'll give this a lash. It gets me on telly or whatever. But Karen is like, what do we call it?
I can't remember. Yeah,
Kate is like,
Dirty Kate. Yeah, I forgot.
Kate is like, he has to embrace all this thing because she's putting her bias on it and saying like he'll have this spiritual she's not saying it, but she's wanting him to have a spiritual awakening like what she did through the exercises and through the breathing and the looking within, all that stuff. Whereas Nick's like, yeah, I could do it losing a few pounds and getting a job.
Yeah.
He's just not into it. And like he says something at the start, he says to one guru, he says something like, look, I'm not, what do I have written down here? One guru tells him, he says to one guru, he's like, yeah, look, I'm not spiritual, so like, I'm not getting into this. And the guru is like, no, you are spiritual, but you're spiritual by being non-spiritual. And Nick's like,
okay.
And then he says something like, look, all the saints and all the gurus, like a lot of them have a thing they have in common where they all eventually come to the realization, look, I'm nobody and I know nothing. So you're already starting off with, I'm not spiritual. So this is what you know. Yeah. So keep going with that. He's trying to tell him, I don't know if Nick did pick up on it, but maybe towards the end he kind of did. But what I thought was a strange way of doing it was that he was trying like different, rather than doing a style of yoga for a month, or even for 2 weeks and then changing it. Like he was literally changing every day.
Yeah.
That's not a good way. That can't be a good way to do anything to know.
Well, I wonder where they're trying to find his yoga. Like, so we've 2 weeks of all the different yogas, then you pick the yoga you like, and we do that for 6 months, which didn't kind of turn it turned into, let's do all the things all the time and see what happens. And some of the groups he liked, some of them he didn't, some of them he found. But
I can't believe he didn't like. There was a Kundalini one and he didn't like it, and like you could clearly see the girl's nipples.
But he's like,
that was the best group.
Yoda was going, it's better than sex, rather than the standard kind of. All right, he goes, no, what do you mean? What does that actually mean? Can we explain that? And she's kind of going, because do you orgasm?
Because he's like, come on, he doesn't want to fucking mess his pants in front of a room full of fucking women, Could you imagine how awful that'd be? Because then they know you just have no, not only do you have literally no stamina when it comes to sexuality, you literally mess your pants just thinking about sex. No one's gonna fucking touch you. You know what I mean? It's
But
like, do you remember the Catholic discos when we were in school, and like you'd be dancing with the girl and you'd be dancing away from her. Fucking, jeez, don't
Can't you touch them?
Jesus Christ.
But there's a very
Shut up, Spud, stop talking.
there's a very telling moment when he's talking about the Kundalini one. I think it's the Kundalini one where he goes, the Kundaloonies, he calls them. He says, because it reminds me too much of my mum's friends and I can't have that. He goes, well, so you've already a bias towards it. But I just want to go back a bit to the bit you were saying about your man saying start with where you are and not be spiritual. And that's kind of the similar type of thing that I was talking about last week about what Alan was saying to me about the Margia and where I should do it. It's like, start where you are, because that's the only place that you can have your trust, your faith, or your thing, because you're not pretending to be something else. You're not, aiming for something else. It's where are you now? It's like, look, the silent knowing thing, where is that now? So I think that's probably what your man's alluding to now, not kind of really saying, oh, that you're at an advantage because, you're not on the cert. Just like, that's where you are, so that's where you start. You look at the point of where you are, just kind of look at that. So I feel, in a sense, it's one of those things that when I don't know if I'm projecting that on that kind of thought, because that's kind of where I am, which I probably am in some way, but it also seems a logical kind of extrapolation, if that's the correct word, to take from what your man said, which I don't think is what the guy got from it. He got an excuse not to do
exactly. Yeah, you got an excuse to be like, fine, grand, not a bother. I'll just fly over the world and do some mad yoga. But
he's at the same time kind of giving a bad impression. He's really nice, and he's very, and he's trying his best, and he's not been flippant. He's not kind of been too school for cool or any of that. Like he's
he's doing the practice,
kind of
and you see him. Like, he gets interviewed by Kate after the sessions and all, and he's wrecked. Like he's absolutely wrecked from the exercises and the stretching, and sweat pouring off him the whole time, kind of thing. Like no, he is a nice fella. It's just that she's just maybe
she had a plan.
She wanted. For what she wanted, she picked the wrong fella. But she didn't pick the wrong fella because he's fucking gorgeous. He's a fucking ride. So he's a beautiful man, beautiful human.
Yeah. But she definitely had a plan. Oh, by like week 3, he's going to be, sitting under the tree meditating. By week 6, he's an enlightened being, and I've made a great documentary, but it doesn't work out.
I just said that after Kate gave out to him the first, because he goes off and beats Diamond Dallas Page, which was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, that was weird.
Remember him? He was a wrestler, and with all the booby ladies, and it was mad. And then Kate, then the director gives out to him then about him not taking it seriously. And then I get turned around and says, this is like your Joseph Campbell thing, the hero's journey, because he's
rejecting it. Yeah, it's the moment of rejection. Yeah.
So it's a good pick up from her. Fucking culture studies, man. Jeez, it's hard. It's so hard to watch a film with her because she's just like. Anyway, I love you. He goes off. They go off and they meet this Hawaiian guru.
Yeah, he started off. He annoyed me because that laughing thing. Yeah, it's just I kind of found there's a thing. That fake forced laughter I see in an awful lot of the spiritual guru types, where it's like kind of and you go, shut up, I asked you a fucking question. But there is a point in the middle of one of the conversations where he turns and he's deadly serious. He goes, he says something, he makes a laugh, your man goes, oh, you should go fuck yourself, but and then later comes back and goes, no, that was the actual thing, the real thing, the one real thing that I actually told you. And you could see his whole demeanor changes, and it's like, all right, there you are. There's the, there's the actual lesson. There's the thing there. But just I think it's my own bias. It's just that kind of fake. YouTube guru. No, my parents have just died. How do I deal with it? There is no such thing as death. My child, sit down and you think there is such thing as that? Yeah, they're literally just dead, and I feel terrible.
What else did he say? Didn't Nick ask this Norman fella, like, what does twisting himself into a pretzel have to do with enlightenment? I thought that was good. And Norman was just like, nothing. Yeah. Nothing to do with it. Like, enlightenment, like, you get it through deep thought and meditate. Thought? What the fuck is thought? The book of thought. Thought. What the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah. Jesus, my inability to speak.
But he makes another good point, because they're talking about the very first book he got was the Bhagavad Gita. And he's saying, so this is an important book. And he says, well, it's depends on the person who interprets it for you. So it's like it's the experience of it and the kind of thing that, whereas the Bhagavad Gita to you could be nonsense, to me it could be my association with it is Hare Krishna's, and a very kind of particular conservative interpretation of it that your man Prabhupada had towards it. But like he obviously had someone who explained it to him properly and stuff, and I know a bit more about it now, and I understand the kind of nuances that it's not quite the Catholicism of Hinduism that is Hare Krishna. But that's a good kind of insight in where it's not the book, it's what you get from it. It's what, how it's part of your journey or whatever, but it's still his first book, it's still part of the library, and it's still a good thing.
Yeah.
But he was as well. Kate asked him a question. Last time I was here, you said blah blah blah, and he catches her and he goes, "Oh, you're testing me to see if I'll answer the same way." And she went, "Oh yeah."
That was good. Yeah. No, it was good the way that he did kind of not got angry. I suppose he got a little bit angry with him about the guff, because they do this massage and he beats the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
Nick. Norman does it on Nick. Beats the living bejesus out of him with this yoga massage or whatever. And he says that thing about go fuck yourself. And it was good because Nick should have got the lesson. No, that is the lesson. Like you need to fuck yourself, man. You need to bring yourself. That's it. You need to bring yourself down a fucking couple of pegs,
Yeah.
And if you want to go after this kind of stuff,
And you could see him getting quite exasperated because he was kind of going like, I keep saying, stop doing this, stop putting all this pressure on yourself to, become the greatest yoga or, just kind of thing, and just do the thing, but you're not listening. So there's no point in a sense. But
he'll still take the $500 a session though.
Oh yeah, for real, yeah. It looked like a lovely spot too as well. Although you could tell he was a heavy smoker, so it's kind of going like, because he had that, that big beard, white beard with the brown bit just below his nose, which is odd.
Oh really? Yeah. So I didn't put two and two together at all. Then they go off to India. Yeah. And they do laughing yoga, which
that is brilliant. Oh, it's so good. So now we're going to laugh. Pretend you're pouring a jug of water over your head. You can't help but smiling when you're looking at it.
Isn't there one about farting as well? Pretend someone's after farting or something. And
right.
It's class. It looks brilliant. Like, just laugh your worries away. Yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah.
And just a load of people in the street just laughing in the morning.
Should have done a full documentary about that. Like, would have been hilarious.
Funny,
laughing yoga at the most inappropriate moments. Like, we'll leave out funerals. That's a bit too. Unless it's a funeral of a celebrity or something. Well, a celebrity you don't like.
Yeah.
No, actually, we won't go down that road at all. Shut up, Spud. And no, but I don't know. Walking into press conferences with the Department of Finance or something. Just like, no. Shh. Ready? No! Oh, it would be fucking amazing, huh? Imagine.
Alan Watts has a good video about that laughing as well, where he just starts doing that laughing, and it always starts off awkward. You go, and then within like about 10 seconds, you're kind of all right. Your body changes, and then
What's the one? Is it the subway, the metro is it London or Paris or something? This wildfire laughing catches on from nowhere, and it ends up the whole carriage is just fucking crying, laughing. It just shows how contagious laughing is, because someone starts laughing, and then the person beside him, and then suddenly or slowly goes along the carriage, and then by the end of the video, just everyone is
right. So I must check that out. That's cool.
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely, and it's not done. It's not done as a thing to show anything. It just happened.
Right? Yeah.
Just amazing. Like it's brilliant. So
I tell you, the next one I think to go to is your man Iyengar, isn't it? That guy, the older kind of grumpy dude.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they went to the grumpy guy and then they went to the cool guy. Yeah.
So the grumpy guy is really well known. He'd be like the IAS or IKS or something, Iyengar. But like Vanessa, that he'd be a big guy in Vanessa's yoga world. Like, and he'd be like, she has all his books, and a lot of the Ashtanga practices. I think Ashtanga comes from him. And his forms and his way of doing it is very much influenced the Western kind of yoga that we know of. So it kind of, but he's quite abrasive and quite kind of old man.
Nervous though. I think he's really nervous about
Yeah, he does look, but like I've seen him in loads of documentaries, loads of things, and like so it's not as if it's the first time he's ever been interviewed. And I was kind of expecting, because he's kind of he's kind of grumpy and then your man Nick asks, goes, so how did you get into yoga? And I was expecting to go, oh, for fuck's sake, really? Do you think I've never been asked this question before? But he's like, well, I was a very sick child, and but yes, maybe it was just a nerves thing. But I suppose because you also have the accent, that might be hard for people to not because you're in India, and I mean they both speak English, but as we know, sometimes the accent thing can be a barrier. But he's an interesting guy. Like he's he was very sick as a child, and got through the whole thing by doing the yoga, and became very healthy. And he's like, whatever he is, he's 90 or something now, and still doing yoga and still fairly fit, whatever. But he got kind of annoyed in the middle of the conversation as well, where around the same topics of he was kind of going, well, I'm not into the spiritual stuff, and he's going, well, it's the whole thing, all or nothing. He says, like, I was doing it for 6-7 years, no spiritual thing, and I was like, well, what's the point? It's pointless. I'm getting the health, so what? And he says it was until he started incorporating the other stuff. But I don't think Nick got quite the answer he wanted from there. But they all got a nice photo, so everyone was happy at the end of the day.
All that matters is the fucking likes on Instagram. I thought they were getting rid of the likes. They still have it on mine. They still have it.
No, you just don't know how many there are. But you can check your own. You just can't check other people's. So you can't check how many likes my Alistair Crowley Equinox photo got.
Yes, I can.
Oh, well, you have the secret Instagram then, because that's gone a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I have old Instagram. Yeah, I have. Here you are. Steve Y. Timothy, 716 likes on his photo. Jonathan, he only has 2 likes. Poor Jonathan. He went. Graham there, he has 31 likes on his.
All right, I can't see any of that stuff.
I see any likes. No?
Oh yeah, you make it into the you're setting up a website. I still have access to the stats.
I don't know.
Unless they brought them back. I don't know.
Maybe I just didn't update it. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Fuck Instagram. Well, it's better than Facebook.
So then, the best guru of all time of this documentary is the next guy to go to. Happy Guy.
Happyguru.com.
Happyguru.com. Yeah. One easy payment.
Yeah, he was lovely. Yeah. And he was so good that I didn't write down anything that he said to him, because I was just enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Lovely, lovely man.
He had the proper guru belly laugh thing, not the kind of condescending fake thing that he's genuine joy, nice, like friendly, like I'd say he gives the best hugs. I'd say you feel so safe and loved. And I'd say you just come away feeling like, I don't know, like if someone has just handed you 25 puppies. Just that real kind of,
who have all recently pooed in one poo.
Yeah. And who just, go away, and you don't have to look after them or feed them or anything. They just go away themselves. And then all these kittens come out and go, whoa. But yeah, he was really nice. Like, there was this genuine warmth and that kind of archetypical grandfather, almost that kind of Santa Claus, jolly, happy old man who only wants the best thing for you, you know.
He says, there's a thing. I found something that I did write down. He says that the guru says something like the key. Nick asked him something like how do I be happy? How do I be happy in who I am? I think it was something very simple like that. And the guru is just straight away was just like, yeah, that's easy. Just be happy with who you are and stop being who you're not. And you can see Nick going, fuck, it's that easy. Shit. What am I doing? And it is that easy. Stop trying to be something that fucking magazines and shit tells you to be, in newspapers. Now, who the fuck reads a newspaper? What am I on about? Old man Murphy. Oh, do you read the newspaper, do you? Oh, I was reading the magazine. Shut up, will you? Whatever YouTubers and Instagram are telling you to be, just don't be them. Find out who you are and be that person. Because you'll be happy.
It was even interesting though in that interaction, because he had a kind of a guide with him as well, who's an American guy who'd been hanging out with this Santa Claus guru for a while. But even he was trying to push Nick into having some sort of spiritual thing. The guru guy was literally going, don't worry about it. Be yourself. You don't have
Yeah.
to have any. And the guy was going, oh, stop asking all the head questions. Ask some heart. And Nick kind of goes, he's literally just told me that it's okay. And you can just see a man going, oh, shit, I've made a fool of myself.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Better add another knot into my top knot. Yeah, and Kate breaks him as well just before that meeting because she lays it to him about like still not taking it seriously enough, and then she pulls the biggest fucking bitch move in fucking documentary film history. She brings up his mother.
Yeah.
Fucking bitch, man! What a horrible thing to do. He's having a great time in India. He's after meeting a chick
that he wasn't allowed to go on a date with.
Yeah,
until he had a strop.
And she's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't go out. And so he's like, come on, let me go out. And she's like, yeah, okay. So like, he must go out. Maybe he gets his rocks off. I don't fucking, he never goes into it. But it's like, but then like, she's so fucking evil. Like, the next day she's talking to him and she's like, well, you know, Nick, you don't think you're taking your mom. Your mom. And then Nick is like, oh no, kryptonite. Ah! And then he's fucking blubbering, he's crying, and he has mommy issues because mommy fucked off and left daddy to become a hippie. And this is why he can't get into the spiritualism thing, because he doesn't want to end up like his hippie mother, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, even though I very much have a soft spot for the whole hippie lifestyle. But like, if you're not into it, then
you're not into it. Yeah,
it's grand. Like, and so then he goes off and meets the cool girl, and the girl's like, "It's grand, man. Just be yourself, like, you know." So like, shut up, Kate.
Yeah. Dirty Kate, as the Santa Claus guru called her. That was very funny. Yeah, she doesn't come off well at all. And I was saying at the beginning that my recollection of the documentary was kind of different from the I seen it when it kind of came out, maybe not, but like a few years ago. And my recollection was that the Nick part of the story kind of ended halfway through, and that the second half of the documentary was Kate then going on a journey to stop being such an uptight. And that's what I did.
You made up your own.
I made an entire documentary in my head of a redemption, the redemption of Karen, Yoga Karen, on Netflix. 6 parts.
Oh, that's fucking
because it's so funny, because the actual bit that is, you know, the redemption of Karen or Karen Yoga, it's 40 seconds at the end where she falls over doing a headstand, going, "Oh, maybe yoga's not for everyone. Oh, I've fallen over." And you kind of go, "Oh well."
And then Donald Trump appears just before that, doesn't he?
Does he?
Trump, like, there's a billboard of Donald Trump
just
as it's finishing. There's this fucking, his giant fucking lippy anus face is there, and it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is he doing in this? Like, but yeah, it's a fun documentary though. I was watching with Aga, and it is good because like, I've tried to do yoga, I just can't get into the habit, and I need to. But Aga does it a lot. And I know Vanessa does it obviously a lot. She fucking teaches it. She's obviously very good at it. And but it's interesting for people who kind of have, for someone like me who has a passing interest in it. I thought it was quite good. I mean, it didn't tell me which yoga I should do for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Obviously, I have to find that myself. But I mean, I like the Kundalini one because the Kundalini one is quite fucking lazy. Okay, it has painful positions, but like you get to trip out and see shit. That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's what I like.
So what you actually want is drugs.
I want to get high.
And sit in my couch and understand the nature of the universe.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with that? Get high and understand the nature of non-duality. Maybe have a chat with Uncle Terence. He's someone I wish I had known. And I'm not. There's not some family issue here now. That's Terence McKenna. For anyone who's getting worried,
Uncle Terry.
And I just want to get high without becoming addicted to anything. So maybe magic mushrooms is the way to go. You probably can get addicted.
You can't because you can't as soon as you take them. Oh yeah, mentally, yeah.
Mentally be like, yeah, I gotta do them again this weekend. I need to talk.
Yeah, but the decrease in power every time, so that it's
okay.
So you have to take breaks. So that's why they say it's not addictive, because if you take a load of them tonight, take some tomorrow, it just doesn't have the effect.
I see. Interesting. I found some purple ones. Remember I sent them to you over the weekend?
Purple Deceivers.
Purple Deceiver. How fucking cool of a name is that? And we looked it up. We eventually found it. Our fucking 3G was awful where we were, but eventually...
You need a few 5G towers, man.
Some fucking 5G towers.
David Icke ruining your mushroom gathering experience. Or identification.
We picked tons of mushrooms, and there was one... There was that really nice one, but the problem with the purple deceivers is that they're supposed to taste fairly nice, but they can pick up. They grow in piney areas, but they can pick up arsenic from the decomposing pine. So
okay,
none of us really wanted to take that chance, except me, and I got voted down, of course. But there was these lovely kind of other bigger purpley browny ones, and we all looked at them and we just went, they have to be terrible. They just don't. No, I don't trust that. None of us trusted it. And then when we got home, then it was literally the only one that we could have eaten. There's tons of them, and we didn't pick any of them because we were like, nah, I don't like the look of that one. So I never judged a mushroom by its cover. Idiots. But, it's mad, fucking. Could you imagine like if some Polish old one was to come along and find these 4 foreigners, British and Irish foreigners, with a dog? It looked like the gayest thing in the world, like going around fucking
with a unicorn t-shirt.
yeah. Mushroom hunting, not having a fucking clue what we were doing, because none of us could get the iNaturist. Is that what's called? The app
iNaturalist.
Working on our phone, iNaturist, Naturist. We were all naked.
iNaturist is a different app.
We're all naked, touching each other's mushrooms. God. Oh God, Istebna. Istebna is totally gay. It's called Istebna. Yeah. Tommy, what's going to get me doing yoga? I need help.
Finding the right teacher. I mean, the thing that not that I've done it in a while, but Vanessa was always trying to get me to do this yoga one because Leslie Fight Master, and she's very good, whatever. And I just wasn't warm to her at all.
What's her name? Fight Master.
Fight Master. What a name.
That's an awful.
But she's great. People over all that kind of stuff. But then there's a guy Yoga with Tim. Who I found much more, and not just because he was a dude, because like I don't care right away about that kind of stuff, but I kind of liked how, because he's kind of funny, but he's not. It's not comedy, but I liked the kind of speed he did things at, and he did like 30-day stuff where you've challenges and stuff, but they all kind of do that. And then there was Travis Elliott, and when I found him, he was the guy. I really liked him, so I think. And that was the one I stayed at the longest, was doing his stuff.
So you like men in tight pants?
Yeah, sure. Flexible men.
Flexible men in tight pants. I'm not judging you. I'm commenting. I'm not. That's all.
I don't.
I'm not giving an opinion.
Just describing. Just seeing as it is.
What you've said in other words that you didn't say.
Yeah. So the answer to your actual question, I think it's just finding the right teacher, or finding the right. It could be that you need actual someone, like a class or whatever, which is not helpful at the minute because that's not
no, have you not heard? Pandemic's over in Poland.
All right, we're going into lockdown again this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's totally over now. They're just like, you know what, some people are going to get sick and die. Fucking deal with it.
Right.
Okay, cool. Why didn't you tell us that in February? Because we didn't. Shut up, you. Taking your tax money as well, you prick. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Not to do with me being a foreigner, is it? Shut up! Okay.
Shut up and let me sneeze on you.
Go do your yoga, you fucking hippie.
So yeah.
Snap. Do you still do any? Do you do any at all?
No, not in a while. It's one of those things. Keep meaning to get back into it, but it's like it's the first day is the bit. Once you do it once, then you're back into it. But it's the hard bit. And I'll do it when the time is right. When I feel really bad about myself and I need to change. I'm not quite there yet.
But it's how do you stick at it is what I'm finding hard. Like I can do it like 2 or 3 days in a row, and then I won't bother then for ages because I'm just like, eh.
Well, do 10 minutes a day. Don't try to do an hour every day. Because I think I was doing at one point doing like an hour a day, and that's just too much because it's an substantial part of your day, and particularly if you're getting busy and stuff like that. And I know the whole thing is that the busier you are, the more you have to make time for this type of stuff. But sometimes you just don't. Sometimes when
time,
when you're trying to do so much, you're trying to play music, which is kind of, you know, outside work, or you're trying to watch documentaries, or you're trying to, you know, read, or you're trying to, you know, when there's 6 or 7 things that you're already trying to make time for doing, and then go, oh, so this isn't even enjoyable for most of it. This is just going to make me feel bad, and I have to stretch and be sore. Probably not going to do that.
Yeah, not really. There was a thing, yoga has a funny reputation in Poland. Did I tell you this before?
Don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so.
Oh. So Aga had a thing a while ago, some kind of stress thing, and the doctor was talking to her and was like, yeah, sorry, Aga said it to her first. She's like, I do some yoga and all that, and the doctor was like, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because for some people, if I bring up yoga, it's a bit weird for them because of the whole, you know, church thing. So in Poland, yeah, the yoga is seen as this like anti-Catholic, dancey, fucking stretchy, for wearing Satanists or something.
Yeah, it's kind of in some circles is in Ireland too. It's not. That's not. You know, it's not as prevalent at all, but it's definitely there. But same as to have the thing about Reiki, Satanist, there's Catholic stuff, or any of these things. Like, of course, like, but I mean, technically they're right if you go and buy, you know, do not do witchcrafts and all that stuff that's in the you know, Reiki's considered witchcraft and yoga.
Church is full of witchcraft. Come on, piece of bread that turns into what? What?
Yeah.
You want me to eat that? No.
Hypocrisy, I think, is a great description of the Catholic Church.
Hypocrisy in the Catholic Church.
Where would you look for that? Is it obvious?
I might just Google that later.
And see what I find.
Yeah, I still can't get Donald Trump's image out of my head now that he was in the documentary, because it just feels like they were trying to tell us something. You know, Karen was wrong about everything except
the prophetic billboard poster.
I have to stop calling her Karen. It's not that anyone's going to know her or any like that, but like just Kate. Her name is Kate. Which is close enough to Karen.
Yeah. So at the end of the documentary, Nick goes off and climbs cliffs and makes mountain climbing documentaries. That's what he ends up doing. So,
how do you find jobs like that?
Don't know.
Is there that big of a deal for it, or is he like the only?
Like, you kind of think already went off and made a mountain climbing documentary.
But like, he makes documentaries about rock climbing. Like, who watches? Okay, there are enough people on the planet for that to be a thing, for sure. But for it to be a viable, fair play to him. He found the gap in the market, you know. This was like these people who make skateboarding videos.
Well, that's it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. BMX, mountain biking, any of these things. Like all of these niche things, when you're outside them, you kind of go, oh, you know, there has to be at least 3 mountain biking videos out there. There couldn't be any more. And there's like millions. Same as like someone outside of Magic going, oh, there's probably about 6 Magic books or something, you know. And it's just
pay for them. Isn't it like how what was the thing called on MTV, the British version of Jackass? Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah.
So they were all skateboarders.
Right.
And then they just took loads of drugs and stapled their balls to fucking snooker tables.
That's pretty much Jackass too, though, isn't it? Like, they were skateboarders, aren't they? Oh no, they were what do you call it? The people who do stunt men. I was going to say the people who do the stunts in films. What are they called? No.
The British lads just took loads of MDMA and did fucked up horrible shit.
There was guys from the town I grew up in, Dundalk, who tried to do their own thing, and it was, oh my god, it was the most cringy thing ever. Like going into video shops and asking for porn, and then, you know, 2 lads in the back going, he actually did it. And then, but like things like then start throwing the fucking video covers at people, and like going, I just feel you may have missed the entire point of why Jackass is funny. Just, I don't know. Could be just me.
Where then? Recommend something for me to read, Crowley, because I'm going to have to take the plunge and go in somewhere. But something I can read.
Right, let me see. Other than books about Crowley, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe I should just get that Amsterdam one. That's probably the best then, is it?
Well, the one, if you're going to spend any money on, is get the big blue book 4, because that has everything in it. I would say, try Magic Without Tears. Just like because it has the dialectic bit going on. It has the kind of or even book 4 part 1, which, you know, it starts off with yoga and then goes into explains the different implements of magic, or the equinox as well. Like the opening of the equinox explains what the AA is and what its intentions are. and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm not. I don't know enough to put you on the right track. Of
maybe I should just continue what I'm doing, just avoid him and read things about him rather than by him.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, no. You should at least. No, you should try and read some because you know enough kind of. You've read enough books and stuff about that. You should probably read the thing. Try book 4. Go there. I'd say book 4. Magic and Theory and Practice. It'll start off good and you'll get into the proper chapter 1 and you'll go, Tommy, why did you say? And then it kind of balances out a bit again.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, right, no, well, I suppose you could do the other one, being that we've talked about, he has the 8 lectures on yoga. That's actually what I'm going to recommend you read.
So I will get into yoga. Yeah. I'll be wearing robes and fucking evoking, eroticizing, flaming sword. Oh no, what was the accent we found out? Oh, flaming sword, governor! Shine your shoes! I'm a chimney sweeper.
How are you?
Chim chimmery, chim chim chiroo, chim chimmery, chim chimmery, chim chim chim.
Bye.